Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unlocking a secret to finding joy, in this crazy, complicated world we live in. And believe it or not, the key comes from a poem that's over 200 years old.
So, let's just start with a question that honestly feels more relevant than ever. With all the pressure, all the bad news out there, what actually gives you the strength to get up and face the day?
Because let's be real. Life can be full of moments that just leave you feeling completely and utterly hopeless. We're surrounded by all these unhealthy influences, and sometimes, our own dark thoughts can really start to take over.
And then there's just the simple, unavoidable fact of human suffering. It's something every single one of us has to navigate. So, what's the antidote? Well, a poet named John Keats, writing way back in the day, offered a really simple, one-word answer: beauty. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds a little simplistic, right? But the idea behind it is incredibly powerful.
To really get what he was talking about, we first need to understand the man himself and, the world he was living in. It makes all the difference.
So John Keats's life was tragically short. It was just filled with sickness and loss. But here's the thing, you'd expect his writing to be bitter and dark, but it wasn't. Instead, he chose to focus all of his incredible talent on hope, on sensitivity, and on what he saw as the healing power of beauty.
You see, Keats was a huge part of the Romantic movement, and this movement was basically a full-on reaction against the cold, hard logic and the machinery of the industrial age. As factories were going up, the Romantics were pushing back, championing things like emotion, imagination, and the spiritual power of the natural world.
Okay, so this brings us right to the core of his big idea. How exactly can something like beauty be a practical solution to life's biggest, toughest problems?
His entire philosophy is just packed into this one famous opening line from his poem Endymion. Seriously, this single sentence is the foundation for everything else.
So first up, he argues that the effect of a truly beautiful experience, it doesn't just vanish when it's over. No, it has a kind of permanence to it.
We're not talking about some temporary pleasure here. This is about lasting emotional nourishment. The memory of something beautiful just keeps on giving us joy and strength long after the moment has passed.
Next, he uses this really wonderful metaphor of a bower. And all that is just a quiet, leafy shelter, a shady spot in a garden or a forest.
So his point is that beauty literally creates a safe space in our minds. It's like a peaceful refuge we can retreat to when the world just feels way too overwhelming and stressful.
And finally, he explains how these beautiful moments keep us connected to life itself, even when everything seems to be pushing us toward giving up.
This flowery band, it's not a real chain, of course, it's an emotional one. It's woven from all the beautiful experiences that remind us why life is worth living. It literally binds us to the world, despite all the negativity.
Okay, so you're probably wondering, where do I find this life-sustaining beauty? Well, Keats is super clear that it's not some rare treasure you have to hunt for. It's all around us, all the time.
He points first, and I think most powerfully, to the natural world. We're talking about simple things we might even take for granted. The sun, the moon, a field of daffodils, or just the cool shade of a tree. These are all constant sources of healing and peace.
But it's not just in nature. Keats says there's this other kind of beauty that exists in humanity itself. You can find it in those inspiring stories of courage and sacrifice, in the legends that give us moral strength and remind us of what we're capable of.
And all of this, all these little pieces, they build to the poem's huge conclusion and its final, most profound image. Keats finishes with this absolutely incredible metaphor. He describes all these different forms of beauty as a divine gift, like an infinite source of spiritual refreshment just pouring down on us.
Let's just break that down, because it's huge. The fountain of beauty is eternal. It never, ever runs out. It's always flowing. It's always available to us. And it has this spiritual, almost divine quality that connects us to something way bigger than ourselves.
So what Keats is really telling us here is that actively looking for and appreciating beauty, it's not a luxury. It's not just some frivolous pastime. It's a fundamental tool for our resilience, for our mental health, maybe even for our survival.
And that leaves all of us with a challenge, doesn't it? Keats is suggesting that joy is literally all around us, in a tree, in a kind act, in an amazing story, if we just train ourselves to look for it. So the question isn't just for him, it's for us. What beauty will you look for today?